Keep yourself in the loop of everything football on the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. The latest news on and off the field, be it college football, Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC to the NFL. We've got you covered. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
All right, and welcome to the GSMC Football Podcast. This episode is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network, and as always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. All right, start of the week here, Monday, here we are. Let me tell you what's going down today. We're going to start off with Julio Jones. Seems that him and the Falcons don't have the best of relationships, I would say. All right, so there's that. We got Tom Brady. Seems like Tom Brady's very close to retirement. All right, I'm going to talk about that. Talk about when I think he will retire. And talk about Patriot life after Tom Brady. Okay? Third segment, Tom Brady talking more about retirement got me thinking, who's the next crop of quarterbacks to take over? We got Eli, who's almost done. Brady's just about done. Big Ben's almost done. Okay? Am I missing anyone else? Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees, that crop of quarterbacks, almost gone. Who's going to be the guys that take over after? So we'll be talking about that. And then for the fourth segment, we will be talking about anything else going on in the world of football, as we always do, or talk about any other topic that comes through my mind. All right, so that's what we'll be doing for today. All right, so let's get it started with Julio Jones. Obviously, we've touched on him wanting a new contract and whatnot. I figured that the Falcons didn't need to give him one. Okay, he signed a new deal back in 2015, and this deal is not done till after the 2020 season. That's 2 more years, well, 3 more years of team control, counting 2008, 2019, 2020. Okay, and I mean, you don't give him the money that he wants, what happens? Okay. Let's say the Falcons tell Julio, you know what, you're a great receiver and all, but we're not really interested in paying you more at this time. What's Julio going to do? Honestly. Is he going to sit out the season? Is he going to sit out 3 years? No. All right. I mean, this is one where I think I side with the management here. I think it's a first on this show. Usually I always side with the players, but it's like, you signed a deal back in 2015. It's not the Falcons' fault that the market passed you up. Okay? You signed that deal. Of course, if it was a contract year or whatnot, yeah, pay the guy. All right? But the dude's got 3 more years of team control. They don't need to pay him. Okay? Of course, then the fact seems like the deal's getting pretty close to being done. And Falcons seem to be worried about the fact that Julio Jones is out, not at minicamp, working out with a certain Terrell Owens. I don't know. You guys ever heard of Terrell Owens? All right. Not really a guy who's ever really been much in the news or the media or anything like that. All right. Always a guy who kept quiet, showed up, did his job. All right. Always got along with his quarterbacks. And yeah, no, I'm just kidding. All right. I mean, Julio's working out with him, and I don't think the Falcons are too excited about that, and I completely understand. All right? I mean, it's just Terrell Owens we're talking about here. It's not like he's working out with, let's see, who's a receiver that pretty much is, never got in trouble with the media or anything like that. Was never highly scrutinized. I don't know. I think all receivers might just be divas. I think so. I think that's a very cold take there. All right. Receivers are definitely the divas of the NFL. And yeah, I don't think there is really one. Is there? I don't think so. But nonetheless, I mean, yeah, you don't want Julio Jones working out with Terrell Owens. All right? T.O. is one of the most selfish players in the history of the NFL. And, I mean, Terrell Owens could be telling him all kinds of stuff. All right? T.O. never got along with any of his quarterbacks, I think, except for Tony Romo. And I think he got along with Tony Romo, I mean, just given off the fact that he did cry during a press conference about Tony Romo. I don't know. Like I said, one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen in my life as far as it pertains to sports. Okay? Like the whole, that's my quarterback. That's my quarterback. Was a bit out there. Okay? But of course, he didn't get along with Donovan McNabb. Him and Jeff Garcia didn't get along. Jeff Garcia has talked many times about the fact that 49ers could go out and win a game. T only got about 3 targets that game. Nonetheless, they won. He's acting like they lost. All right? And then you got it where T.O. gets about 15 targets. They lose. T.O.'s a happy camper. Okay? You don't want that around your star receiver. All right? Because now it seems that the league is becoming more, as far as the player goes, they're becoming more of an individual, meaning they could care less about loyalty to their team. And I don't blame them. I'm perfectly fine with that. Okay? This is a job. You go out and do what's best for you. The same way I would for any other job I've ever had. Okay? You don't owe anything to the team. This whole team camaraderie, be loyal. No. All right? I am completely against that. Go out and get yours. Of course, you're going to upset some fans and stuff, but who cares? They're still going to buy tickets. They'll still show up. All right? And that's one thing I've never really understood. Why do the fans always side with management instead of the player? You're not watching management play. Okay? Your team didn't win that Super Bowl because of management. All right? I don't understand why the fans refuse to support players. And of course, you got some, you got the minority of them who do. All right? But I feel like the majority of them are just kind of like, oh, nope, selfish. You need to be loyal to the team. I think the problem is, too, with the fans is that they think of it as if it's still high school football or whatnot. Okay? They think of it as a game rather than a job. And I think that's where the problem is. I don't think the fans really look at this as a job. All right? Because the average man works a difficult 9 to 5 or whatnot. And these guys are going out there playing football. Okay? But nonetheless, like I said, I mean, Falcons and Julio, I guess it's being reported that they're not in the best place. All right. Let's see. You had Falcons beat writer D. Orlando Ledbetter. He was asked about Julio Jones on ESPN 7:30 a.m. The Game. He said, it's in a bad place right now. Coach Dan Quinn was expecting him in here, talking about minicamp. He told us that at the owner meetings when I talked to him down there in Orlando, and then a few weeks later, Julio informed that he's not going to be here. All right. Like I said, he also talked about how they're not really too happy about the fact that he's out there playing ball with Terrell Owens. Okay, as nobody would be. I mean, we all know what kind of player Terrell Owens was. I'm not going to talk about Terrell Owens, the person, because I don't know it. But of course, I mean, the Falcons don't like that. Okay? And of course, you got the whole brotherhood model and all of that. Julio's not there. There's no brotherhood. I mean, that's a bit cheesy too. I'm over the whole team models and all. All right. But nonetheless, I mean, Julio's making $14 million a year right now. Jarvis Landry's making 15. AJ Green's making 15. Mike Evans is making 16 plus. Hopkins, I think, is making 16 plus. Julio just wants to be compensated like them. Okay? I don't blame him. But of course, I mean, he didn't really have any leverage. I guess it's just a point where the Falcons are doing him a solid here. Because it does seem like they are close to a deal at least. Okay? But like I said, I mean, I'm sure the team's going to be fine. I feel that this is all being a bit overblown, given the fact that, let's say that it ends with the Falcons giving Julio a new deal Do we expect them still not to be the best of friends? All right, Julio, you got what you wanted. The Falcons got what they wanted. He's back with the team. I mean, what else could come from this? All right, if they do give him higher pay. I don't think Julio's going to go requesting for a trade after getting a new contract, would he? No. All right. So like I said, I mean, it seems like the Falcons and Julio Jones aren't the best of friends right now. I'm sure they're going to make up and be best buddies again. Okay? I'm still not over the fact that I lost the semifinal game in my fantasy football league due to the fact that Julio Jones couldn't get me one catch. All right? It was that game against the Bucs too. All I needed was 6 points. Julio got me like 0.4 in the first half. Or no, he got me 5.4 in the first half. Second half, it's a PPR league. All I need is a catch and a yard or two. We're good to go. All right, we're good to go. Your boy Jesse's in the final, and we're almost going to win a ring. Okay, I think I knocked off like 10 in a row at that time. 10 straight wins. We're looking great, outscoring everyone. And Julio Jones doesn't get me that catch in the second half. I'll never forget it. All right, one of the more... Honestly, it was like it's like watching your favorite team losing the Super Bowl or whatnot, or losing a big game. It was stressful for me. All right, but I forgive Julio Jones. I think it was more Steve Sarkisian's fault. All right, and that's one thing too to look forward to this season is Steve Sarkisian to get Julio Jones more involved, or he's going to use him as a decoy. All right, who knows? Steve Sarkisian, maybe he's just a college guy. I'm not sure. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not gonna already give my thoughts on Sarkisian. I got to see what else he does. But nonetheless, last season kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But like I said, I mean, Julio Jones and the Falcons will be fine. They're going to pay him. He's going to show up. Everyone's going to be happy. So we're going to wrap it up here. Next up, we're going to be talking about one Tom Brady. All right, seems like he's getting closer and closer to retirement. So we'll talk about that, and let's talk about what the Patriots look like after him. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's GSMCpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Football Podcast. First segment, we talked about Julio Jones. All right, guess he doesn't have the best of a relationship with the Falcons. I mean, who cares, dude? They're going to pay him. They'll be best of friends after that. The only problem is that he's working out with T.O., I think. All right, but nonetheless, now we're moving on. Tom Brady, current 40-year-old, will be 41 by the time the NFL regular season begins. I mean... Is it September yet? All right. I don't know how much longer I can wait for the football season. World Cup's doing me good. All right. Keep me occupied and whatnot. But I need my football. Okay. I need it. And it's not here yet. So, but nonetheless, I mean, there's that, I guess. But like I said, Tom Brady going to be 41 heading into this season. All right. And has said before that he would like to play till he's 45. How possible is that? For Tom Brady, I'd say, given the fact that the guy's gotten better each year, meaning he played maybe one of the best years of his career last year, won an MVP, went to another Super Bowl, I'd say that's possible. Okay? But does good old Tommy Boy here want to play that long? I don't think so. All right? The more and more Tom talks, the more and more I think the guy could be gone after the season. Okay? Tom Brady went, he talked to Oprah, okay? And Oprah's like a legend, huh? I've never really, dare I say it, I've never really understood the hype around Oprah. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too young. All right? I first was introduced to Oprah when she was already a star. All right? I know she got a talk show and whatnot, but I don't know. Oprah's a legend, I guess, though. Well, she is a legend, not I guess. She is a legend, but maybe I gotta read more up on Oprah. All right? Because Oprah's like one of those people where, you know what, we're talking about Oprah. We're getting off track here. All right, but nonetheless, Tom Brady went on Oprah's show, and that sounds so weird to say, but nonetheless, he was talking to Oprah in an interview, and told her that he thinks about retiring more than he used to, and Oprah asked whether he'd be retiring at 43 or 45. He says as long as he's still loving it. That quote right there is what jumps out to me. All right? And like I said, I'm always going to tie a lot of this stuff, all right, as far as the Patriots, to the article by Seth Wickersham about how there was tension between Brady and Belichick Kraft. Okay? Brady said that he'll keep playing as long as he's still loving it. All right? But that's the thing. If there really is problems between Belichick and Brady, how much longer can Brady left playing for Belichick? Okay? Brady's already got all the money he needs. All right? He's already done it all. But things like the highest paid supermodel he's married to, Giselle, 2 kids, got a family. All right? And if he's really got problems with Belichick at work, what's the incentive of still coming out? You're already regarded as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, right? I mean, honestly, I do think that Brady could retire after this season. Okay? I don't know. Actually, you think Brady would do him a solid and stay another year just so they could draft a quarterback and develop him for a year? Or you think Brady would just say, bounce, like, I'm done after this season? All right? Because like I said, the dude's going to be 41 this season. All right, before week 1. And you figure that now the guy's talking more and more about retirement. I mean, it's almost kind of like Ben Roethlisberger, except now all of a sudden that they drafted a quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger wants to play 5 more years. All right. But like I said, I mean, I could see him retiring after the season, honestly. Okay, what more is left for Tom Brady to do? All right. I mean, you go to another Super Bowl, you win it, you lose it, who cares? I mean, like I said, you're already regarded as one of the best quarterbacks. Okay? I don't think adding a Super Bowl to Tom Brady's legacy does anything for it. I don't think it affects it. Okay? We all have our opinions on Tom Brady, and him losing it or him winning it does not matter, I think. So to me, it's just kind of like, if there really is problems in-house, all right, why not just retire? But here's the thing. I don't think Brady would pull a fast one on the Patriots like that. But of course, I mean, he could. Okay? And there's always the question of, what do the Patriots look like without Tom Brady? All right? What does the Patriots' future hold? Okay? I was born in 96. The first year I remember of football was, I'd say that 2001 season where Brady beat the Rams. All right. Maybe even, what was it? When did the Rams and Titans play in the Super Bowl? All right. I think that one is the first one I remember bits and pieces from that one. All right. Let me see. Or do I? I might just be thinking of something completely different. All right. Let's see. That was Super Bowl. It was in 2000. All right. I'd say I remember bits and pieces from that Super Bowl. The one I remember, Yeah, no, I think 2001 is like the first one I remember, but I definitely remember watching 2000 Super Bowl. And I was like 4 at the time. All right. But nonetheless, I mean, all I've known pretty much over my football life has been Tom Brady dominates. All right. I got my favorite team in that division. Tom Brady's beat my team up so many times. Okay. And it's just a point, like I said, of what does the NFL look like without Tom Brady? The dude's had a stranglehold on the league for so long. Him and Belichick, but I mean, we talk about Brady. All right. The Patriots got to get worse, right? And even let's say this, okay? Let's say that the Patriots draft a quarterback and he's a really good quarterback. That still makes the Patriots worse. Okay? Brady's one of the greatest of all time. There's going to be a downfall to any guy they bring in. All right? And I'm just curious. You got Tom Brady. The Patriots have always... All right. So let me make my point here, okay? The Patriots have always brought in guys who, like, under the radar type guys. Guys you wouldn't expect to do well in the league. All right? They find the diamonds in the rough. And I think Brady has always done well to elevate their play because of his play. Are you going to be able to run that same type of system where you're more than likely not going to have a quarterback who affects the other players around him like Brady does? Okay? Let's say that they bring in a quarterback and he's like Alex Smith. For me, Alex Smith is a top 10 quarterback. I think he's the 10th best quarterback in the league. All right, or at least around there. Let's say a guy like that comes in the Patriots and plays well. You think Julian Edelman and all those guys are still going to play as good as they did with Brady? I wouldn't say so. I say you throw Alex Smith on the Patriots. Actually, that's not even... Alex Smith on the Patriots would be great. What am I thinking there? All right. Maybe it is Belichick that keeps this team going. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. Brady wasn't necessarily the greatest prospect coming into the draft. Okay? And one thing I'm thinking about too right now is that Brady took over Drew Bledsoe's job. I remember Drew Bledsoe the Cowboy. I don't even remember Drew Bledsoe the Patriot. All right? And that comment is just to make some of you feel old out there. I remember him as a Patriot, but like I said, I mean, I think Brady could honestly retire after this season. I think it's a possibility. All right? And I mean, we're starting to come to the end of these great quarterbacks that they've seen. This is maybe the golden generation of quarterbacks, I think. All right, we've seen Peyton Manning, Breeze, Rivers, Brady, Manning, Roethlisberger. Who else am I missing? I mean, that's 6 Hall of Famers right there. And yes, I do think that Phillip Rivers... is Phillip Rivers a Hall of Famer? That's a tough question. That might just be our 4th segment right there. Is Phillip Rivers a Hall of Famer? All right. But like I said, I mean, we've seen so many great quarterbacks, so many Hall of Fame type quarterbacks, and now we're reaching the end of it. All right. But nonetheless, I mean, Patriots after Tom Brady, it's going to be very weird. All right. It seems it's going to happen sooner or later. I'd say I'd give him 2 more years tops, but the way he's talking. All right. And maybe this is all just something for him to promote his little Tom versus Time docuseries. Okay, because he brought that up in the interview too. He says you can go back and see all the stuff I talked about and all that. Maybe that's just what it is. All right. But nonetheless, we'll see what happens with Tom Brady. But honestly, I do think that he will retire within the next 2 years, and I would not be shocked at all if he retired after this season. I mean, like I said, there's no more for him to accomplish. He's already regarded as the best of all time. All right. So we'll see what good old Tommy Boy decides to do. But of course, Paige going to be as dominant without him? Probably not. Unless Bill Belichick is just that much of a genius. So we'll see what ends up going down. Next up, like I said, a lot of good quarterbacks coming to the end of their careers. Who are the guys that are going to be taking over? I'll give my thoughts, so stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Football Podcast. So far today, we've talked about Julio Jones and also talked about Tom Brady getting closer to retirement. All right. And now, we talked about Tom Brady, and I mentioned in the last segment, too, how we got guys like Phillip Rivers, all right, Drew Brees, Big Ben, all close to the end of their careers, I'd say. All right. Eli Manning, all those guys. We were, at least over the last 20 years or so, blessed to watch all these guys play. A lot of Hall of Famers came through. All right. And I think this is probably the golden generation of quarterbacks right here. All right. 70s, no. 80s, you had Marino, Montana. Montana's overrated, by the way. Glad I could get that one out there. And, I'm just going to stop there. I'm not even talking about quarterbacks in the 90s. 80s, I'm going to stop with Montana was overrated. Okay. But nonetheless, like I said, golden generation of QBs from mid-2000s to now. All right. From early 2000s to now, I should say. All right. Chances are Tom Brady's probably better than your favorite quarterback. So is Peyton Manning. Okay. And that's just the way it goes. All right. But nonetheless, who are the guys who are going to take over? Who's the next cream of the crop? All right. And that's the big question right there. I'm not really sure. I don't think we're going to have quarterbacks who are as good as the guys we've seen over the years. Talking about Brady and all those guys. But nonetheless, there's a few, I think. One of them, definitely Carson Wentz. Okay? I think Carson Wentz is the best next young quarterback out there. All right? That's a guy who you could already argue might be top 5. Of course, he'd be 5th. But nonetheless, I'd say, yeah, he could be up there. All right? In his second season, tears it up. Also tore his knee up. Was on his way to winning an MVP. Of course, that knee injury stopped that. Tom Brady ends up getting that MVP. But nonetheless, Wentz without a doubt would have won it. Okay? And who's to say that the Eagles don't win that Super Bowl with Wentz? All right? The dude was looking like a seasoned vet out there. So I definitely say that Carson Wentz is definitely one to watch for. Okay? And, who's to say that Wentz can't take him and win a Super Bowl within the next 5 years again? Okay? Of course, you had Nick Foles doing it, but nonetheless, this Eagles team is good enough to where they could just get back there. All right? So you got Carson Wentz. I'm not gonna say Aaron Rodgers, just given the fact that Rodgers is already 34. I'm not sure. Who do you group Rodgers with? Okay, is he kind of like in the Matt Ryan group as far as that wave of quarterbacks? Do you put him with Brady, Roethlisberger? I think you do put him with Roethlisberger and all those guys. Because Roethlisberger came into the NFL a year before Rodgers did. Okay, but it's just the thing with Rodgers. He sat 3 years, and it feels like we haven't seen enough. I don't know. It feels like there's a lot more left in Aaron Rodgers' career is what I'm trying to say. All right. But I wouldn't put him as far as the new up-and-coming quarterbacks or anything like that. Deshaun Watson. The dude looked like a top 10 quarterback last season before he tore his knee. All right. And we're starting to see more and more players tear their ACLs, I've noticed. All right. I'm not sure if it's because players are getting more athletic, but nonetheless, it seems to be a problem more and more now. All right. I mean, you got guys who will just make one cut and they tear it. Isn't that a bit odd? Or is it just me? All right. But nonetheless, like I said, I mean, Deshaun Watson definitely one of the next up-and-coming guys. All right. Last season, I mean, obviously you didn't have the Texans winning every game that he started, but nonetheless, we're in it and looked like a completely different team rather than when Tom Savage was out there. All right. Deshaun Watson is a guy who he how do you say? He's not a guy who needed to develop. All right, he was good from the jump. I mean, as soon as he came in and played, we knew what difference he was going to make for this Texans team. Okay? There's not many guys who are like that in the NFL. Some of them just need a couple of years to sit back and watch. But of course, like I said, I mean, Deshaun Watson isn't one of those guys. So I definitely say that Carson Wentz and Deshaun Watson are two of the up-and-coming quarterbacks who are ready to take over. Let's see, who else? All right, how about... I don't think Dak Prescott is like that yet. I don't know. I mean, look at this. I mean, what do we think of Matt Ryan? Okay. Matt Ryan's probably got about 8 more years left. All right. And he'll be in the league by the time Brady and all those guys are gone. What do we think of Matt Ryan? I mean, I feel like we should all think of him as a top 5 quarterback, but I don't think any people do. Okay? And let me look at it real quick. Let me look at Matt Ryan's stats over his career. I know they're good stats, too. Like, Matt Ryan, he's got an MVP, 4-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro, Rookie of the Year. I mean, 2016 AP Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, the dude's got it all. He just hasn't won a Super Bowl yet. Ever since he came to the Falcons, I mean, his rookie year, they go 11-5, 3,400 yards, 16 touchdowns, 11 picks. 2009, they go 9-5. Well, he only starts 14 games that season. All right, so he goes 9-5 in his 14 starts. 2,900 yards, 22 touchdowns, 14 picks. 2010, they go 13-3, 3,700 yards, 28 touchdowns, 9 picks. 2011, they go 10-6, 4,100 yards, 29 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. 2012, 13-3 again. All right, 68.6 completion percentage, 4,700 yards, 32 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. 2013 was a bad year. They go 4-12, 26 touchdowns, 17 interceptions there. Then go 6-10 the year after that. All right, he throws for nearly 4,700 yards, 28 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. 2015, they go 8-8, 4,600 yards, nearly 21 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. In 2016, he wins the MVP that year. They go 11-5, go to the Super Bowl, lose when they should have won. All right, they shouldn't have gave up that lead like they did. Nonetheless, he nearly throws for 5,000 yards, 38 touchdowns, only 7 interceptions. That dude was ridiculous that year. And then this past year, I mean, it was a down year. I mean, they go 10-6. He throws for 4,000 yards, 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. See, 4,095 yards was his lowest since his third year in the league. All right, and like I said, I put a lot of the Falcons' offensive woes on Steve Sarkisian. All right, but nonetheless, I mean, you look at that. The guy's done well. He's won playoff games. He's been to a Super Bowl. I mean, never won it, but nonetheless, he's done well. He's won 4 playoff games. All right, he's 4-6 in the playoffs. Only thrown, let's see, he's thrown 20 touchdowns in those 7 games, or 10 games, 7 picks, 2,600 yards. All right. I mean, what more could you ask for there? Why is Matt Ryan a guy we don't really think too highly of? All right, as far as a quarterback in the league. If anything, he should be on at least right behind Wilson. I think we think more highly of Wilson than we do of Matt Ryan. Okay? And I really don't understand why. Maybe it's because they play in Atlanta. Atlanta's not a big media, not a big market, I would say. I'm not sure. All right, but definitely, like I said, Matt Ryan, I mean, should be a guy we think of as taking over once these older guys are done. Jimmy Garoppolo could be it, but I mean, the guy's only played 8 games. Russell Wilson, I mean, but none of these guys are on the level of a Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, or anything like that, I'd say. As far as, like, Hall of Fame type quarterbacks. Yet. All right, maybe that's all it is right there. We just got to wait a bit. Okay? But, like I said, I think we just witnessed the golden generation of quarterbacks. I mean, going from Drew Brees to Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Rodgers, Roethlisberger, Rivers. Carson Palmer was great. All right? I mean, majority of those guys are Hall of Famers, without a doubt. All right? But it's going to be real interesting to see what the next wave of quarterbacks looks like. Like, I'd say Carson Wentz is the next big young up-and-comer, then Deshaun Watson. Am I missing anyone else? Like, Jameis could be that, but he just makes way too many bad decisions as far as on the field, as far as turnovers. We haven't seen Patrick Mahomes play yet. Yeah. It's not looking really too... Again, these guys are all still young, so they got a lot of years left in their careers to be better and whatnot. But there's no, like... I don't know. Maybe we're spoiled with this golden generation of quarterbacks. All right. But nonetheless, we're going to wrap it up here. Next up, I'm going to look at Phillip Rivers and try and make my decision on whether or not I think that he's a Hall of Famer. All right. So stay tuned for that, and I'll be right back.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts. Past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Football Podcast. So far today, we've talked Tom Brady, Julio Jones, and talked about the next wave of quarterbacks. Now, we're going to look at whether or not Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Famer. All right. Phillip Rivers has had a very weird career, so let's just look at his stats. All right. Let's see. Came into the league in 2004. Didn't really play until 2006. All right, his first full season. 2006, the Chargers go 14-2. Rivers throws for over 3,300 yards, 22 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. All right, in his first full season. 2007, they go 11-5, 3,100 yards, 21 touchdowns, 15 picks. 2008, they go 8-8. He throws for over 4,000 yards, 34 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. The next year, they go 13-3. 4,200 yards, 28 touchdowns, 9 picks. 2010, 9-7, 4,700 yards, 30 touchdowns, 13 picks. The next year they go 8-8. All right, he throws for 4,600 yards, 27 touchdowns, 20 picks. Rivers has always been pretty high on the interception side of things. All right, but nonetheless, he's always been a guy who's thrown for around 4,000 yards, sometimes a little less, but he's only thrown less than 4,000 yards 1, 2, 3 times since he started playing full seasons. All right, I'm not going to count 2004, 2005 because the guy barely even threw the ball there. All right. But nonetheless, I mean, the only real problem with good old Phillip here is that there's no Super Bowl ring. Okay? Where's the ring at? We don't got one. All right? And I think that's what kind of scares people away from him. But looking at it, he's 9th all-time in passing yards. Let's see, where's he at in passing touchdowns? He's 6th all-time in passing touchdowns. All right. Let's see. Where's he at on interceptions? He's got to be pretty high on the interceptions list, right? If he's not top 20, I'm going to be very, very surprised. All right. And let's see. Let me double check that. I know Favre is like the leader on that list, isn't he? All right, so let's take a look at my favorite list, the all-time quarterback interception leaders. Of course, you got Brett Favre, who is far and away number one. Far and away. All right, 336. George Blanda, second all-time. George Blanda played from 19... Wait, that didn't make sense. George Blanda was in the league from 41 to 75. I need to take a look at George Blanda real quick. Let's see. Yeah, 49. Pro Football Reference needs to get this one fixed up. So let's see. I mean, he played a kicker, quarterback. I don't know. This is a weird list to look at. Well, yeah, he played quarterback for a little bit, and then was a kicker for pretty much from... he's a kicker from 67 to 75, so that makes sense. All right, but then let's get back to the interception list. That threw me off big time there. I don't know why they got him from... Oh, actually, it says 49. I read it wrong. So from 49 to 75. Either way, it's a long time in the NFL. John Haddle. Who is John Haddle? 268 interceptions. All right, let's see. John Haddle. AFL champ, 6-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro. All right, let's see. Played in League 62. Didn't really do much. Not a great quarterback. All right. There's a lot of names on here. Vinny Testaverde's number 4, 267. Fran Tarkenton, number 5. Let's see. Where is good old Phillip Rivers? He's not top 20. That's actually pretty surprising. And I mean, Phillip Rivers didn't start throwing interceptions up until later on in his career. He's 47th all-time with 166. He is behind... He's ahead. Let's see. Who's he ahead of? He's ahead of Ron Jaworski, Jake Plummer, Tom Brady. All right. Tom Brady throws 6 more interceptions than Rivers this year, and he jumps 7 more interceptions than Rivers this year, and he jumps him. Let's see. Cutler, pretty low on that list. Same amount of interceptions as Tom Brady. Also played way less. So, if Cutler played more than 11 years... Jay Cutler, man, such a sad story. So much talent, but just didn't care enough. All right. Let's see, who's the best quarterback I could find as far as going down the least amount of interceptions? Yeah, I don't think we're going to find one. I guess it'd be Tom Brady. All right. But, nonetheless, yeah, Phillip Rivers only 47th all-time in interceptions. That's pretty decent. Okay, considering the fact that you got guys like Ben Roethlisberger ahead of him, Jim Kelly's ahead of him. Let's see, Carson Palmer's ahead. Sonny Jurgensen. Sammy Baugh, that's a name drop right there. Terry Bradshaw. Drew Bledsoe, like I said, I know Drew Bledsoe, the Dallas Cowboy, not Drew Bledsoe, the Patriot. Joe Namath, probably the most overrated quarterback of all time. Ken Stabler, John Elway, those guys are all Hall of Famers too. Warren Moon. They're all Hall of Famers, right? Yeah. Warren Moon, Dan Fouts, Wyatt Tittle, Dan Marino, Johnny Unitas, Fran Tarkenton. Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Famer. He's got to be a Hall of Famer. Okay. Has to be, right? I mean, like I said, let's see, pass yards. What Hall of Famers is he ahead of as far as passing yards? He's ahead of Warren Moon. All right, Fran Tarkenton. Dan Fouts. He's ahead of Montana. Let's see, Montana's 18th all-time in passing yards. What about passing touchdowns? Where's Montana there? Montana on passing yards or passing touchdowns is 16th. All right. Hot take. Let's see. Matt Ryan has 260 touchdowns. Montana threw 273. Where's Matt Ryan behind Montana on this passing yards list? Is he even up there? He's ahead of Montana. Matt Ryan better than Joe Montana? I don't know. I'm not saying he is, but stats. All right, let's see. Passing completions. Rivers is top 10. Rivers has got to be a Hall of Famer. He's top 10 in the major quarterback stats. I get that he hasn't won a Super Bowl, but hasn't even been to a Super Bowl. But I mean, is that what we're gonna keep him out? Is that why we're keeping him out? Okay, he's better than some of the guys that are in. All right, let's see. He's only been in the playoffs 5 years. 4-5 record. He's not the greatest playoff performer. All right. 2013 was probably... Actually, 2008 is probably his best. where he won a game, lost a game. Actually, I don't know. 2013 looks pretty good. But he only threw 43 passes combined in those both games. I'm not sure. And I think maybe that's what keeps him out. Okay, but I don't think it should. Yeah, I'll say that Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Famer. I'll say that. All right. I don't think that's pretty crazy either. All right. But nonetheless, I mean, like I said, Rivers, those Charger teams were way too good to not win one. Right? Let's see. Was he on the team that went 15-1? I only went 14-2. What year did they go 15-1? Was that 2005? Let's see. I think that's when Breeze was still there. Let's take a look at Drew Brees too. Let's see. Breeze. They never went. I thought they went 15-1 with Marty Schottenheimer one year. Or is that the 14-2 year? What year did Schottenheimer get fired? All right, let's take a look at this. We're gonna do some real investigative stuff here. All right. Marty Schottenheimer, I'll never forget too that year when he got fired. Let's see. Schottenheimer, 2006, they go 14-2, he gets fired. All right. And Marty Schottenheimer, let's see. His winning percentage, where is that at? 613. All right. Schottenheimer won everywhere he went. He ever won a Super Bowl? I don't think they did. Yeah, I don't think they've ever won a Super Bowl. Who would you say is a better coach, Marty Schottenheimer or John Gruden? I'd say it's Schottenheimer, right? I get that Gruden won a Super Bowl with Tony Dungy's players. That's cool. After that, he didn't really do much. And I do think John Gruden is extremely overrated. I think he's a good coach, but I think he's overrated. People talk like as if he's the greatest thing ever. All right. I get he was entertaining in the Sunday Night Football booth, but nonetheless, I mean, come on now. All right. So Gruden is a career 500 coach. Let's see. 540 is his winning percentage. 54%. All right. Barely was at 500 with the Bucks. Was nearly at 600 with the Raiders. Yeah, Schottenheimer's a better coach than Gruden, I'd say. All right, let's see. Gruden was an offensive coordinator for Philly for the first 3 years he was in the league. Gruden never played football, like in the NFL. I'm not sure. All right, but nonetheless, getting back to Phillip Rivers. I mean, I'd say that he is. All right, Phillip Rivers, I guess, like I said, he hasn't won a Super Bowl or anything like that. Not really too dominant in the playoffs. But nonetheless, the guy's up there on the all-time leaderboards as far as yards, touchdowns, and isn't up there on interceptions. I think is a plus, so we'll see. But nonetheless, we're going to wrap it up here. Today we talked about Julio Jones, Tom Brady, the next up-and-coming quarterbacks, and then Phillip Rivers. So thanks for listening to the GSMC Football Podcast. As always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. I will be back tomorrow, so stay tuned, and I will talk to you guys later.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.